another episode of the RSL Random Fan Podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined by
Tyler.
And
Brennan.
What's your name?
My name is Brant.
Hey, Brant. Welcome to the podcast. So
Thank
glad
you.
to have you.
Yeah, it's almost like, we're an expansion podcast, and we haven't done this before.
That's all right. We can still win.
We can still win. I don't know if I'm going to make it because of the altitude, though.
Oh, yeah. That's always... No. Usually what happens is the other team gets gassed and gives up in the 70th minute and just packs it in, but not this time.
Yeah, so thoughts on the match. San Diego came in. RSL, I was doing a little research. They have struggled with expansion sides.
Oh, yeah.
In the past. Minnesota had our number. Atlanta had our number. LAFC. St. Louis, they just came in. And,
LAFC was the worst of all time.
Yeah, they just kind of came in and bent them over, so to speak, in inappropriate terms. But let's not go that far.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Banked.
it is a little different expansion environment. They only do like 5 players. They only get like 5 players from the other teams, but
the rules aren't as strict as they were back when we.
And I think there's more money.
Them.
There's more money in the league, so that teams can come in. If they do it right, they get all the GAM-TAM, whatever the extra bonuses they get from Major League Soccer. If they do it right, which several of the teams have done recently, they can really have a great team to start off.
And they GAM-TAM, thank you, ma'am, us today.
Oh, my gosh.
Didn't they? Wow.
But also, too, we've seen, I don't know that St. Louis had a good season, but they flamed out in the playoffs. They can have a great start.
Same thing a couple of years before.
Yeah, they can have a great start, but as the long season wears on, he's gonna die at one of these points. They also kind of wear out as they go along.
And I'm going to that game, the return game in San Diego. So I'll report live from the game.
And you're taking a fan. You're taking a lucky fan.
Nope.
A lucky random fan is joining.
Nope.
No. Free room and board?
Nope.
Airfare?
Nope.
What about concessions? If you can make it to San Diego, and you can find
me in my random fan jersey,
he will buy you.
I will buy you a hot dog or some overly processed food. All right, so Brennan, you got the lineup, or you want me to?
Go ahead, sir.
All right, Rafa Cabral in goal, across the back, Javane Brown. Oh, boy. There goes our man. The captain of all time. I don't know, bro.
Our bobbleheads. I don't think we have a bobblehead that survived.
Was that Captain?
Oh, no,
Captain Kryla?
It's Morales.
Oh, it was Javi. Oh, man.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, boy. All right, so across the back, Javane Brown, Philip Quinton, Justin Glad, Alex Catranis. The pivots are Anelli and Ojeda. Mark Chuk, Luna, and Diogo Gonçalves. And up top, Ari Piol. Now, is that our best lineup?
Where are there players that we could adjust?
I mean, is Quinton our best left inside back? Right inside back? I mean,
I think he's the best. I think he's the best right inside back that we have. I think that Javane Brown is great at defending. I don't think he likes the ball at the feet.
Yeah, there were quite a few times in this game he just did not want the ball.
But we need to give him a benefit of the doubt that most players are going to have bad games.
Yeah.
You know
consecutively.
No, not consecutively. He did fantastic against Seattle. Yeah. So
I think he did great against Seattle, but I think maybe that's our weak link. But I don't know. Diogo disappears for long periods of time. That's disconcerting. And Piol took his chance well, the first goal, and played fairly well. But there were times when he was not, an option. But it's a tough game to call from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think the only addition to the lineup or change that might make a difference might be Brian Vera.
Yeah.
Over Quinton. But Quinton, I think he's good. Come a long way.
What is up with you tonight? Dude? Just stop talking. Brennan, what do you think? Just be quiet. Brennan, tell us what you think.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Vera is clicking with what they're trying to do in the back. I think his aggressiveness has become an Achilles heel in the way that they're trying to get more players upfield. They want somebody a little bit more structured, less likely to get into these yellow or red card cautions and stuff. And you're seeing a little bit more consistent in Quinton.
He brings that element of, I'm going to kick this ball in from anywhere on the field, right?
Well, we've seen
bring.
flashes of that, but no, I mean, that was what? Maybe a 3-game stretch where we were relying on his left foot. We haven't seen that towards the end of the last season playoffs. We didn't really see that.
No, he scored in the playoffs. Remember they called it back? I still am not over it. I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
But I think what Quinton does bring is Quinton and Glad get marked as the center backs on our attacking goal kicks, right? And then that brings Brown in as a real attacking threat because he's really good in the air. And he got his head on 2 or 3 balls that I think they were aiming for him. And I think there was a mismatch. And I think we could have scored. And we just didn't quite get there, you know?
Yeah.
Which kind of story of this game. Which I thought it was a horribly exciting game. I hate to say it that way. But, it was horribly exciting. It was back and forth and 4-on-5 and then 4-on-5 and 5-on-4, however you want to say that. The attacking had 5 and the defenders had 4, and it was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and wow, that was crazy.
It's kind of like watching a fast break.
Yeah,
Basketball, just back and forth, back and forth. I thought, what was I going to say? Yeah, well, it was very exciting. We talked about that. We talked about that as we're watching the game. It's like, this is really entertaining. I could watch this. Games like this all the time, and in the post game, Pablo was like, "I know everybody that game was really entertaining, but that's the last thing coaches want is an entertaining game.
Absolutely,
we want a boring game where we're in control and we're dictating. It's not going back and forth." But he admitted it was probably for the fans. It was incredibly exciting.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best losses entertainment-wise that we've had. I mean, if we're going to lose, at least make it fun and entertaining. But, man, the story of the game, it's got to be those finishes. The finishes where we get so close, the goal's open, and we just miss. Right? I mean, 3-4 times? 2 tap-ins, right, where we beat the keeper and just missed the goal. So, I mean, we can break them down individually. But a lot of people were getting on the defense because we ended up giving up 3 goals. But I went back and checked, and Glad played really well. He kind of came off ticked after the game. You watched him go straight to the locker room and not really engage like he normally does post-game. He was not happy. Because, we can break him down individually, but...
Well, I thought, too, one of the things that was really surprising about the game was that San Diego came out and pressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right off.
Which is kind of antithetical, not what other teams do. Usually the visiting teams come in and do to
what was
RSL.
That, Brennan? Brennan, did you get that? Word of the day?
Antithetical.
Antithetical.
To be or not to be. Antithetical.
Yeah, it's antithetical to what... It's the opposite of what most teams do.
Yeah.
Most teams come in and sit back, and they try and absorb RSL in the first half and then store up enough energy so that in the second half they can frustrate and come out and counter more in the second.
Antithetical punks that they are.
Yeah, jerks. That's what they are. But they came in early, and Jasper Loffelson played relatively well. Got a nice reception from RSL fans.
But is his career over because he's starting as a right back? Generally, your career is based on how far up the field you start. So, does this mean this is his last position before he retires?
Oh yeah. I think he brought a lot of hustle in the midfield for us back in the day, and because he hustled so much and ran so much, it kind of earned him that hustle moniker. And then he went to Colorado, and that's where he got his minutes there. But I think in San Diego, he's getting minutes at right back, and I think it fits him better.
Also, too, the way San Diego plays, I think Jasper is really good with his feet.
Yeah.
And he kind of plays into their style of play. So, but, if that's the case, that's where you go to retire. RSL's got 4 or 5 people at right back ready to end their careers, it seems like. You guys can be, I don't know, I thought Javane Brown did not have a great game. And it's the second game where it looks like the last thing he wants to do is have the ball at his feet. And he spent more time passing back to Glad.
Okay, break it down.
No, and he had people up the line multiple times. He had, right? Like he would turn and look at Mark Juke, and he was there, and he wouldn't play him the ball. And I was like, get the ball at Mark Juke's feet and let him beat that guy. The guy in front of him, right? What was that guy's name? It was Turskov, and then behind him was Negri. And Negri's the old man of the group. He's like 30 plus, right? I know, I'm 50, so it doesn't really make sense that I call him an old man. But in soccer terms, he's an old man. And especially compared to Mark Juke, who's fast. Like, give him the ball. That's our matchup. That's our... And I kept getting frustrated that wasn't happening.
Well,
were you equally frustrated with that?
I was very frustrated because one thing that RSL has struggled to do the last few years is have that line-breaking pass. There's so often where, and of course it happens all the time. If you talk to the strikers, I'm sure you're going to say, I'm not going to make any more runs because nobody gets me my runs, but that's what they're supposed to be doing. But San Diego was really good at getting the ball, turning, putting pressure on the midfield, the back line of RSL, and creating buildup. Where RSL, they got pinned in the back so often. And just from my vantage point watching the game, you could see there was the back line for Real Salt Lake, and then Anelli and Ojeda, a lot of the times, didn't know where they were. And then you would have this huge space that only had San Diego players, and then our wingers and our strikers. There was a little bit of a disconnect, and San Diego was much better at filling those spaces, finding each other, and just turning and putting pressure on Real Salt Lake. It was really fun to watch. It was pretty.
Well, I mean, I hate to call it pretty, but they basically what they would do is they would force Javane Brown to pass the ball either to Catranas or to Quentin, because Quentin and Glad kept switching. They have Glad listed as starting left inside, but he was mostly playing right, and Quentin was playing left inside. And so the ball would go out to Javane on the right wing, and he didn't want to find Mark Chuk, or he couldn't, and Nelly was getting pressed, and they were trying to cover that lane, and then they were covering the pass to Glad. And so Brown was kind of forced to either lob it up down the line or hard switch it to either Catranas or Quentin, who was playing on the far side of the field from him.
So this is a question I was thinking about, and I'm just a random fan learning the game as we do this. With all that space that was available, maybe RSL pulling back one of the wingers, adding a third player alongside Ojeda and Anelli for Brown, Quentin, Glad, Catranas to find another player in there.
Well,
what is
Pablo even said that post game? Like, he's like, I don't joystick the players. I'm not in there going, okay, now you come here and you go there and you go here and you go there. He wants them to figure it out. And there were times when Luna dropped in there and there were 3 center defensive midfielders for a while. But I think this is where Diogo getting lost out on that other wing really hurt RSL. Like, Javane Brown, I don't think found him the whole game. And that is a part of what makes our offense tick is the hard switches. And that's what ended up getting us the goal. On that goal, I before they even scored it, I was like, Brant, we're at like 20 touches. We're at like 20 touches. Look. And then Diogo had that run where he quick couple touches and got past a player, and he just got it wide. But then he whipped it back, and Luna switched it, and Mark Chuk took it down, right?
Nice takedown with his chest.
And then Peel made that penetrating run, and he played him inside, and, it was a great finish. But it was great teamwork, too. And San Diego was trying to cover the best they could and as fast as they could. but because that ball came in and Mark Chuk attacked it, and you know what I mean? It was one of the best goals in RSL team history. Like, if you go back and watch the whole build up to that, it was beautiful, man. I was so impressed with that goal. That was one of my favorite goals of all time. It really was. I was like, I am so impressed with that right there. And it's too bad the rest of the game didn't mirror that to finish it off. But we played well, you know what I mean? Like, there were times when we would break their press, and then it was on. And we would go straight to goal. And anyway.
Yeah, I thought there's some positives definitely to take from the game, and that was their creativity. And they did seem like they were creating more, which is obvious by the misses. But the point blank misses, but it needs to be a little more consistent, and perhaps we just need to have a little bit of more patience with this younger club. I'm going to die, aren't I?
Can you just get water?
I should.
Let's turn his mic off.
Okay, so one thing we got to do is we got to give it up to San Diego and their coaching staff to be able to come up with a game plan for them on such short notice, a lot like Seattle. And one thing that you're seeing with these expansion teams is that the simplicity in coaching, both offensive and defensive, is far better than all these intricacies we get in. Running that 4-3-3 allows them to make passes in between channels a lot easier. So a breakdown from offensive to a defensive position is a lot easier. So they're getting a purpose on both an offensive and defensive play. Whereas what we saw in this game, which was our 4-2-3-1, that's a heavily attacking formation, we're seeing our midfield, our double pivots, our wingers, and our fullbacks not being able to have purpose once we're dispossessed and going back defensively. Having to watch the game again, seeing our back line isn't really necessarily to blame. Our back line is reacting to what our midfield is losing. Our midfield is starting to become a heavily offensive-minded team instead of having a dual purpose. We get caught so many times not being able to be in the right position in the midfield to stop their attack or their counter. They were able to be intricate later in the game because they had a more simplistic idea of playing football. And I don't really see an issue with our team overall. I see an issue with us subbing out a defensive player every single game as though it's normal. Like, we just got to fit in Sam Junqua to say, hey, we paid for him, might as well use him, instead of allowing us to be full game. Our back four or back three need to be there in the full game. Fresh legs is only good if the other team has like a Robbie Finley or a Anderson Julio, where they're trying to get behind. Yeah. But these expansion teams don't care about that old style of play. They're about being connected to the ball. When they were changing fields, you saw them go from one side to the other, and that team knew exactly where to go in transition. We don't have that. We have so many isolated incidents where our left winger, Diogo, is deciding, I'm not going to run and cover this now transition back into the center, and he's just going to casually walk, or, he shuts down. It was honestly a lack of dual purpose in the midfield for this game for me. I don't ever want to say that, Brown didn't move the ball very well. Well, we had Andrew Brody last year. And I will tell you right now,
that's an upgrade.
Brown will beat Andrew Brody in every field. Absolutely beat in every field. Defensive, dribbling, passing, IQ, elevation, sending stuff in.
Not random pokeaways, though.
No.
Brody was better at that.
It's hard. It's hard.
I will agree 100% with you on that.
It's hard to do that when you have somebody so freaking good opposite Brown.
Right.
You're literally just seeing the opposite side because Katranis is by far an underpaid player.
Well, talking about the subbing the left back in the post game, Pablo was pretty much addressing that fact because that came up. He's like, we expect so much out of the left back that we're going to sub. We anticipate them being burned out by 70th minute because we expect them to go forward and come back and exert so much energy. A lot is asked of them, and that's why they're subbing him out. And we don't know Should have asked, but we didn't.
What the stats are?
Well,
Why
What the
the early
stats on his
subs?
bra are? The bra. What's it called? The bro or the
But-
bra?
but that brings up a really
the
good point.
brosier.
We
brosier.
know we are going to have a sub on the left side in the 70th minute or 65th, wherever. We're going to have a sub because we don't want Katranis to burn out, right?
Yeah.
But we're so heavily fixated on this 3-man back line. Why don't we just take him out and put Palacio in? And now we're going to have a triple pivot, or we'll just have a fully defensive-minded player in the midfield to help clog that up. And now we still have Glad, Quinton, Brown, or Vera playing that 3-man back.
1-3-3-3. 3-3-3-3-1.
It's a
3,
well.
2, 2,
it
1,
would
3,
be
2.
pretty much a 3.
3-3-3-1. Yeah. 3-3-3-1. Take your left back and put him in
No,
left
because
midfield.
if you're gonna run 3 guys in a pivot, you need to take your top striker and move him back in.
Right.
So it might just be a 4-3-4 is what it would be on paper.
Yeah, but to me, the bigger problem was we just didn't finish. There were 3 or 4 times when we had them on their back foot and we either didn't get a shot off or we missed a tap in. And I think we should talk about that before we.
Do we want to
break
talk
down.
about their goal?
Yeah.
Is that
let's-
your-
Well, yeah. I mean, our goal was a thing of beauty, and I think we touched on that.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to give more insight on it that you liked or something?
Well, I liked the fact that it was, like you said, it was a team goal. Diego found Mark Zook, who brought it down, and Mark Zook is still at that point where he's
Diego found Luna, and then Luna
Yeah.
found. Yeah. Okay. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Because
I think-
Diego and Diogo sound a lot alike. I don't know.
because Diego was the one with the long pass, right?
So
Or did Diego find Diego?
Diogo found Diego. Yeah.
Then Diego sent it to Mark Zook.
Right.
Mark Zook brought it down, and he did make some good choices. He's a young player, and I think he struggles with being a young player and making the better choice. Not everybody's going to make the best choice every single time, but he did. He took it into the middle, and I loved how it was just it wasn't fancy. It was just a beautiful pass that opened up Yol, who was making the run.
Yeah.
Put him one-on-one with the keeper, and
Great finish.
he punished him, and I agree. It was beautiful. It reminded me of the first goal they had against, I think, Herediano, which was Iago making a cutting pass
Yep.
into Iago, and something similar was really nice. They just need to be more consistent, because you're right. If they put the one by Mark Zook, I don't know how he missed it. It seems like missing it was harder than putting it into the back.
It was in between the touch, because you were saying this before we started the podcast, Tyler. He should have taken that first ball, that first step. He should have taken it before he gathered himself. So there was the option to take it early,
Yeah.
then possess, and then he shouldn't have shot. He should have taken another possession and then shot.
Or
He
looked up to see where the goalie was.
Yeah, he chose the timing where you should look or anticipate a move instead of what he did, which was shoot in between the timings.
But that's hard because you're young and you want to hurry it.
And how many?
But if you hurry it and you miss, it's better to take your time and have it blocked
I don't
than
agree with
miss
that.
the goal. No, it is, because if you take your time and it gets blocked, then you still have a chance to recover that and still score. If you just miss the goal, you have no chance to recover.
Well, from my experience, when I'm coming in from the right, if I'm coming in from the right, I don't know where their left back is or their left sided or their right. Whatever.
Yeah, so if he rounds the keeper and just taps it,
they
might come back and
that.
cover.
So I've always had
I see
success
it.
doing earlier rather than possessing more.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a little tough to be in that situation when you have pressure right behind you to know what's the right amount of time to take the shot.
Yeah, because you can't see behind
And he's
you.
and he's
Yeah, for
also
sure.
this is what his second or third opportunity to have this. That's asking a lot out of a young player to all of a sudden just be, okay, you got 3 chances, let's do it.
But the point is how he responds to that too, right? Not
yeah.
just that he takes that shot and misses it. It's that the next time he doesn't quite put himself in that same spot. You know what I mean? And I think after that miss, he actually played kind of not great, and then
He
they
played
subbed him
cautionary.
out.
Yeah, he played very cautious
you
after
know,
that.
and then everyone was getting upset that my boy came into the game. We'll get to
it
that.
Hidalgo?
We'll get to that. No, we'll get to that.
Well, also too, I think the 2 words, not very big words, but the 2 words that would describe the game for me watching it was pressure Both teams were putting on pressure. So with all that pressure, it comes down to poise.
Yeah.
And which team's going to have more poise? San Diego is the expansion team, but they have more. It seems like they have more experienced players on their team that they've been able to pick up. So it just came down to who was going to crack first.
Well, and when you have a guy like Luca De La Torre who can kind of just play out of pressure whenever he wants, that's a valuable commodity. And by and large, Luna and Anelli and Mark Chuk and these guys can do it. They just didn't do it a whole lot. Anelli, a couple times, just burst of speed past his guy, and then the whole field opened up. Because it was kind of like, remember where San Jose used to play with their long-haired Argentine coach? They would basically man mark for the whole field. And all you had to do was beat one guy off the dribble, and then it was, 5-on-4 or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever those numbers broke down to be. As soon as you beat one player, you were good. But that happened multiple times in this game. But then the reverse happened too. There were guys like De La Torre who we would step to and he would blow by us. And he's not super fast, but he's super skilled on the ball, And then that gives the other guys freedom to kind of make a run because they know that guy can hold the ball in tight space. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with your composure on the ball.
So, yeah, I think this is the goal. But it was really surprising. Watching it back, I thought the first goal from San Diego wasn't defended as well.
No, I mean, he's their left back. Like, he made a run, and Quentin didn't think he was going to make a run in behind him and Catranas. And then they knocked the ball in, and Quentin thought he had it covered. And that's the most dangerous ball of all, is the ball you think you have that you do not have.
Yeah, it looks like a surprise it goes over his head.
Yeah, and I think Catranas was like, he's got it. Because the way his body language was, if he wasn't watching the ball, he just looked at Phil and he was like, oh, he's got it, right?
We're seeing the weakness of a three-man back line. Because when they get possession like this off to the side, that right back has to come up and he doesn't want to fully commit. And now they're just switching and changing and they send the ball up to the middle. That's going to bring a lot of confusion if there's not a lot of, like you said, poise.
Yep, and their left back gets all the way in between our left center back and our left back and heads the ball into the far post.
It's simple, classic football. It's nothing new. It's nothing hard. It's very simplistic, and you just have to execute the right place, the right time, and just make it happen.
And their striker chipped it to him too, which is impressive.
Yeah, it was
their number 9.
It was a really good setup play, but realistically, there is too much change and movement with the three-man back line to not, like, there needs to be more solidarity between Glad, Quinton, or Brown, and then have Catranas be that more aggressive upfield player. There just needs to be a better understanding of what those three people's roles are, because when somebody changes or picks a man and makes him move, they gotta be able to look at more than just one thing, and that's tough.
Yeah, one thing too that was impressive is their decision making. San Diego was very quick.
Yeah,
quick and simple.
Yeah,
Yep.
and RSL tends to. I don't know if this is just how they practice or their coaching. I think we brought it up last episode, where they kind of feel like they may be overcoached. Like they're always trying to make the right decision instead of make a decision.
Like I think like they're being too intricate with what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like they're trying to make it more like, okay, you have to go here to then go here, and they're just trying to be like not flashy, but overdoing it with their movements instead of what we call it in tennis, high percentage. Like you're gonna go high percentage tennis, and that's gonna make you win.
Dude, that's what always frustrated me when I would play with my older brother. Like when I would play with him and he wanted to play striker, it would be fine. But then he'd go for the goal. He was always going for the side volley, the overhead kick. It's like he thought ESPN was watching and he was trying to make the top 10. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, just kick it in. There's nobody around you. You don't have to side volley that. Trap it and pass it past the goalie. Quit making a big deal and put the number on the goal.
And the other thing with that is San Diego, I thought they gave the people with the ball more options. Mm-hmm. They found the spots. They were filling in the spots where people could be dangerous. Because on I guess it was De La Torre on the left side there.
Yeah.
man, the ball come to him, he hit like he wasn't even looking, just like no look pass to the middle.
Yeah.
And boom, they're going. So but when with RSL, maybe it's just they're young. Although this is about the same team as last year, they should have a little bit more. They should be a little bit more cohesive. That's why I think maybe there's just so much pressure to make the right pass that just makes it worse instead of.
Or it could be too many options are being practiced.
Maybe there's something.
You know what I mean? Like there's like, okay, Dom's got this ball. Okay, now we could either go to this guy, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, and now that's what they're doing is they're like, okay, which is the best option? Whereas we're seeing in San Diego, there was like maybe 2 options every time.
What did Pablo say in the postgame about that? Because you brought it. Pablo brought that up about focusing with these young players, trying not to focus too much on stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you focus on, hey, we're going to work on finding the outlet, or
Yeah.
They
this
almost
week.
focus on it too much, is
Yeah.
what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
If you overemphasize one thing, then they tend to overemphasize that thing
Yeah.
instead of just putting it in as part of their arsenal of.
And that's how information needs to be delivered. I mean, that's probably an issue with the coaching, is you get so put into those fine-tuned things that you get rid of what's the best way, which is just make it automatic, make it muscle memory. And they need to have that high percentage baseline and then build it up.
Yeah, don't think react.
Yeah, you can
Right.
get over-educated in certain areas.
Well, and there were a couple of really good saves that CJ De Los Santos had in the game, right? I think 23rd minute is where Anelli popped up and long shot, and it was going. And then Diogo had one like 3 minutes later, 26th-ish minute. And good saves on both of those. And, again, we're not very dangerous on corners, so that doesn't matter. But
and the goal was frustrating. A lot of people probably think, and maybe even Cabral might even think that's one they got away, because it was just it was so close. That's got to be frustrating. The chip in to Dryer in the middle, is it Dryer? Or
I believe
Goodell?
so. Yeah.
the guy that scored?
Yeah.
The first one or the second one?
First one.
First one was Negri.
Negri. It just kind of floated in there, and there was no speed. It just kind of redirected. That has to be a lot more hard for the keeper than the bang bang.
Well, just barely inside the 18, and he set up directly in the middle of the goal. So now his angles are like he has to be able to be in between the 2 biggest angles that he has to block. So as a goalie, the only way you can shorten those angles is by coming forward. And since he kind of floated that ball in and he's indecisive about which center back is going to get him, Cabral can't come out. So if he does come out, it might be a different story to condense that angle. But he has to camp and stay there. And so now Homeboy
Yeah,
has,
then he has to
2
react faster.
humongous angles to hit that a soft ball like that could go in.
Yeah, he put it right in the corner. I mean, just
Yeah.
inside the post. That was a
Yeah, I mean, it's a
pinpoint
different story if he's,
finish.
5 yards closer to that chip or 5 yards back, because now he's closer to near post or far post, and that's an easier save for the goalie, but, that's why you send it straight to the middle.
All right, we going to halftime?
Let's go into halftime.
Push the button.
Oh, yeah. Which one? Pick one. Pick one.
B.
B.
Limping into halftime, giving up a goal right before halftime. We almost gave up 2. There was another chance right before half.
Oh, the look you gave.
So sad. There we go. Oh, so sad.
So,
Limping into halftime.
halftime, anything you want to bring up? How about orange slices for the first half of the game?
I think it was Mark Chuk, especially if he could have finished that second play where, dang it, so close, but just missed. And the keeper kind of tripped and was going down anyway, so take that extra touch, mijo. Sorry, that's my son in
I gotta give my orange slice to Justin Glad. A lot of intelligent play, blocking passes and channels, and just a solid overall defensive game for him, even though the scoreline doesn't show it.
Yeah, the RSL was playing with fire.
Yeah,
They were playing with fire. A lot of good team defending, but if you end up in a situation where there's a lot of team defending, a lot of scrambling in front of goal, you're going to get burned at some point. But mine is for, I'll give it to Peel. Somebody that put it in the back of the net. Had a nice clinical finish, nice, calm, poised finish. So that will be my. But there are some other good players. I mean, Luna looked like he didn't have the greatest of game, but he always comes back and plays well after games like that.
Well, So there's this thing called the Triforce. Have you ever heard of that? It's from Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
I was just
And-
gonna say,
is it Star Wars or
No, the Triforce. It's the 3 triangles and blah 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 power.
triangle offense?
And I think no matter what, Luna, Ojeda, and Anelli are going to be our Triforce going forward. They are literally the whole reason why we would score, make defensive plays, move the ball. Those guys do the job so well. I'm scared about Palacio and Ruiz. Like, we are probably, like, the way they're playing right now, I don't think Ruiz is going to be able to get back in. I mean, unless we change our tactics, but I'm loving Luna where he is in the middle there. Ojeda and Anelli just rocking it down. They're always going to get an orange slice almost every game.
Yeah, and I have to say, I thought Glad and Quentin were a nice pair. It looks like that might be the starting
Lineup going forward?
lineup going forward. But Pablo did say, they played well against Seattle, so we kind of had the same starting lineup going into the next game for some consistency. But I think things are back to being more wide open, especially after you lose 3-1 to an expansion side, a good expansion side, to say the least. But yeah, I think there was some good play. I loved the fact that they were being creative and creating, which they didn't do in previous games, even against Herediano and Seattle, definitely against San Jose. But it's starting to come around, and I think you just have to have some patience. One thing we could talk about, I listened to the interview with Spence Checketts and Kurt Schmid today, I think it was today, about the reinforcements that are on the way. He definitely thinks we can get one in before the end of the window closes, I think April 4th. But there could be 2 or 3.
yeah,
Just depends on how it all breaks down. One of the things he did mention is,
Raul Diaz is not
yeah, we brought that up,
in
and
contact with the RSL. So if you think Raul Rui Diaz is on his way to RSL, that's not happening.
no,
We got the inside track for that.
yeah, we were talking to somebody, and
Trey's like, we've talked to him as much as we talked to, who did he say? Like
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo or something. I was like, what?
Why would we want him?
Ronaldo? He would score
No,
goals
no.
for us. Oh.
Rui Diaz,
Yeah, no, he's done.
yeah, he's 34. He's not.
He would
He
be a
would-
temporary.
yeah, like somebody up top with some experience with those younger strikers to kind of build some confidence and
Bring him along.
bring them along.
Well, that's why you hire a striker coach, not to hire a player.
So hopefully there will be some reinforcements heading in. Got to find somebody to pair up with Diogo, because Diogo, man, he looks like a player that you have to find him. The game, he doesn't find the game's got to find him, and that's kind of frustrating. Although he did have he looked better, and Kurt pointed out in his interview with Spence, which was really good, that he hasn't played a lot of games with us yet, and he's getting better, but watching it, I think he's a little too close to the Menendez line than I want him.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. He's no Morales at this point, for
No.
sure. For sure. El
But
Maestro and no S.
If you're going to have a designated player, they need to have an impact somewhere.
Yeah.
In the
And
game.
he had the breakaway in the second half, and he just didn't even put it on frame. Like, I get the one with the Jago had, right? Jago took a heavy touch, and then he was getting too close to the keeper and just hurried and shot it, and it got blocked. But even then, like, you got to have poise in finishing. Like, that's our biggest problem. We would have been up 3-1 going into the end of the game. And I know the expected goals say 1.6 for RSL, but I think it was closer to 2.5. I think they just had some bad info or something in there. I think our expected goals should have been 3. I don't know. It just seemed like way higher than the expected 1.6. So
By the 75th minute, we should have been up 3-1 and closing out the game. For
Yeah.
sure.
and then we wouldn't have had what happened happen. you know. And Nelly said post game, he was like, "Hey, you know, we kind of were getting towards the end. We were getting impatient. We were kind of forcing a few things in, and we probably should have just put our foot on the ball and calmed down a little bit. And as captain, that's my job." And he kind of owned that. And I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't your fault, bro."
Yeah,
but it was good that he was owning it.
Well, he was kind of pointing out too that they were still trying to win the game.
Yeah,
and at some
which is
point,
good.
Yeah, you want it, but at some point, you know, where do you make the decision that you
it's
want to
okay
secure the
draw.
result first, and then kind of counter and try and get the win later? But it's a young team, and they're learning.
Unless I'm in the playoffs, we play to win. Because one outcome like this can be nullified with one win.
Sure.
Right. Yep.
And
It takes 3 ties to make a win.
if you look at the game as a whole and you're sitting outside of it, this is still a game that is a win for us.
And I think he was specifically talking about stoppage time.
Oh, if
they
he's
kind of got into stoppage time. It's like maybe we should have had a little different focus, but at the same time, there was 7 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, that's ample amount of time to make some greatness happen. And I think this was a really good game for us.
Yeah. And then do you want to go to that goal? That second goal for them, or we not?
Getting into
some other stuff you wanted to track down in between?
Anything else at halftime? Just pointing out, there's a great interview with Kurt Schmid. One of the things he said is probably going to be inside Major League Soccer, or someone that doesn't need
an international
transfer
spot.
fee.
We don't have an international
We've
spot.
got like
guys.
13 internationals already on the team.
We don't have any room for that. And,
So-
that counts both Vera and what's his name that got green
They're working
cards.
on the green cards, yeah.
They already got him. Vera got his. So
Yeah, but expect something to happen in there, and they're working on it. Anything else on halftime before we jump into the second half? We gave away I think Austin Scroggins.
Oh yeah. We went down and gave away the jersey,
The Grid City jersey that we had the big giveaway.
And you know, I saw somebody complain on Facebook like, "Hey, why do the influencers get jerseys?" And it's so we can promote it and give them to you. And if you know someone who's an influencer who didn't give it away, they kind of suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I went and bought
need to have
my
an
own.
audit.
I mean, this isn't the one they gave me. We gave it to Austin Scroggins, Scrog Dog. So if you follow him, he's a big RSL fan. And he kind of had a man crush on you, Brant, is what I noticed. He was like, "Come in for a picture," and he put his arm right around you and
Someone's got to do it. Someone's
bro.
got to do it, so thank you.
He's like,
Austin.
"Brant, you're my favorite."
Yeah, it's like you never want to meet your heroes, though.
That's what we walked away saying.
Yeah. Well, sorry if we disappointed you, Austin. But enjoy the
jersey. No, and it fit him too. He looked like the size large, tall guy. You know, good stuff. So looked like he didn't have to go trade it in for a different size at the store.
And we love to give stuff away.
Yep. Well, speaking of giving it away, Brennan, what do you like to give away?
What do I like to give away?
What are you giving away this week? Are you giving something away? Are we doing a giveaway?
Am I missing something?
Grab one of those hats and let's give it away this week.
What hat?
I don't know. Did you shove some hats over there, Brandon?
Yeah, we've got some stuff we can give away.
All right.
All right.
Dude, I wasn't at the meeting.
Brennan's going to do a cool giveaway this week, so watch for it on social. Watch for it on when you smash that like button.
Yeah.
When you like that post and heart that Instant X thing.
All right, if you pay attention to this podcast and you watch this podcast, whatever day you watch this podcast, I need you to go to our Instagram and at exactly 11:11 a.m. or 11:11 p.m. like our most recent post or our video, and we will choose you for a new hat.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, halftime over. Finally, we ruined whatever momentum we had going
Didn't we
there
just
for a
talk
minute.
about this whole game already?
Almost. We were going to get to the second half because I think that's where the game was lost.
Yeah, well, I think we was lost at the
One
extra
thing-
time.
When?
Extra time.
Yeah.
Extra time.
It wasn't really the second half.
Yeah. Well, the first 90 minutes were good. And then, the 7 minutes later, it didn't kind of work out.
7 minutes weren't in heaven.
But it was interesting. Halftime stats that I remember, we both had 8 shots with 3 shots on goal. So it was really even. And so with the second half, it went back and forth. I mean, San Diego came out.
Yeah, they came right out.
But
Scored twice.
Actually, RSL came out first, and I think Mark Suk, right at the 46th minute, had a shot that deflected out for. Remember when he hit
Buell in the face?
He hit the San Diego defender awkwardly, and then he ended up.
Oh yeah,
he fell down.
He subbed out, right?
Yeah.
He
broke a hip.
McFace, McNair, McVeigh.
Yeah, I think
one of the mix.
Yeah, he fell down and he had to push the little button, first alert, and say, "I've fallen and I can't get up." Life alert.
And then Life Alert came and got him off the field.
Yeah, they flew in somebody from Costa Rica to get the stretcher.
And that was a really long man down play, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it was. He must have.
Do we do that now? Like, we give him like 2-3 minutes to was his leg broken? Like, I don't know. It just seemed so long. We'd just gotten back from halftime, and now we're taking a 2-minute, 3-minute break. It just seemed odd to me. That's the only decision I think the ref really got wrong. He was calling a little bit tight, which was fine. But
yeah, and so the second half just kind of went back and forth. Like the first half, they were every few minutes, one side was dominating the ball and then trying to create some chances. Peel did get the header that hit him right in the face. That was pretty funny. Yeah. And then there was one time where the San Diego player fell over the ball. I was trying to remember where.
We went to clear it, and he blocked it, and then he just fell over right in the box, too.
It was right in front of our keeper.
Yeah, it was almost like he could have had a chance on goal, but his touch just totally let him down, and he just stopped the ball and then fell over the top of it, or just kicked it straight out of bounds. One of the two. I couldn't remember. And Brad's like, "There you go. There's your."
Yes, I have a Major League Soccer contract.
I have a Major League Soccer contract moment. There's one in every game.
So yeah, and then we could talk about the subs.
We can. It's okay.
Let's talk about the subs. So
in the 55th minute, Pilcher came in for McNair, which we should have exploited Pilcher. We tried to go at him 3 times. We got 2 through balls that were in on goal, and Ejago and Gonçalves both missed. So anyway, we did attack him. It did kind of work. But then in the 55th minute, we also subbed in Junqua for Catranas, and it seemed early. No?
Seemed really early.
Yeah. Seemed early.
Although perhaps Catranas wasn't feeling good. Who knows? But he didn't look happy to be subbed out. Of course, none of them did when they got subbed out.
No. And then in the 64th minute, Valakari came in for Angel, who was playing the number 9 up top. And Boateng, the RSL killer, came in for Luca de la Torre. Luca from the tower is what that translates to, just in case you wanted to know Spanish. And then Ojeda picked up his 79th minute yellow card, when he took down the player who cut across, and he was not having it, so he just tackled him. It was a good tackle by Ojeda.
Yeah, and Jasper in the 67th minute had a nice pass that just barely sent it across the box, and there was a sliding San Diego player, just barely missed his foot. I'm sure that would have made Jasper's day to get an assist against his former team. And then it was the 68th minute, I think, where Diogo missed the wide open.
Yeah.
The wide open net. And that was a turn and a play from Anelli. It was just
He bursted past his guy and then split the defenders and picked on the rookie, and Diogo just did not finish.
And then the 70th, it looked like Luna came out for Wolf, and Diego was not happy.
Well, he wasn't happy a couple times. I remember that one time he threw his mask, and I was like, dude, put that mask back on. Don't be carrying that around. The ref could card you for carrying around something like that, right?
Something's going on, because if you're going to... It looks like this is a preconceived plan by the coaching staff to have these subs out. 55th minute, we sent out 2 people. Not 2, sorry. Sent out the one for Catranas because we're scared. And then the 70th, we send out Jago, Henry, and Wolf. And that to me doesn't seem like the players are on board with that. I don't think Luna wants to come out of the game when he's developing like he was during the first half. I don't see Piol needing to come out either. I don't understand that. I know Ajago's had a couple goals, but Piol's movement is far faster, and he's getting into a lot better spots than Ajago, and he still has that burst of speed when he gets to the ball. Ajago has that, I got the ball, let me slow down, gather myself, which can be a good thing, but Piol, in my opinion, was getting into such better space.
Yeah, he looks like more of a complete player than Ajago does at this point.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe Piol has a better chance and does a little better job than Ajago did in the 80th minute because they played him on and he turns and his first touch is way too hard.
Yeah, and he gets away from him.
It gets away from him, and so the keeper beats him to the ball.
Took it wide instead of...
Yeah, and I think this is where we're getting into too much tactics. We're getting into this overly tactics thing. One thing I saw on this, when you look it up, if you look it up there, and it tells you who the managers are, San Diego has one manager, whatever his name is, I can't remember. And then it says game day manager for RSL. There's two guys, Polis and this other guy, and then managers, Mastroeni.
Yeah, I don't know if that means anything.
Well if you watch them on the bench...
know.
Those two guys are the ones talking the most. Pablo is walking with his arms folded, going back and forth. Those guys are scheming. And this is beginning to be less about feeling the game and more about what our tactics are before the game. And it's not working.
Could be.
You need a negative Nelly right now.
Yeah, and then remember that interaction around what was that? The 70.
It's your turn to talk. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to talk to you.
Say something.
No.
73rd minute, they subbed out Kumato and subbed out Lawfulson and put in Kumato, and they subbed out Negri and put in Bombino, both young kids. Little guy, that Kumato, he's the one that made the run for the goal, which kind of sucks. But and then there was like this, I don't know. Again, I don't know why. Again, going back to the ref. Sorry, the ref. I think he sucked in two plays. I apologize. I got to go after him for the fact that he did not give our boy a yellow card, and the boy I'm talking about is Godoy. Godoy needed a yellow, dude. He was demonstrative multiple times, made some very cynical tackles, and then said something. I don't know what he was talking about, but, our boy Cabral came all the way out of the net to shove him one time just for fun in the 76th minute and pick up a yellow card, right? So, I don't know what was said, but clearly he was being a punk, and nobody on our team was kind of getting him out of the way, so Cabral did it.
Yeah, I
like that.
Like I said, I like what Cabral brings. He kept him in the game, stood on his head for a little bit. One thing, the last sub, I don't know what the deal is with Hidalgo. Now he's a winger.
Who, Bodie?
Bodie Hidalgo, he's a winger now because he's pushed off the right back position, and wouldn't Brook have been a better choice? I mean, is Bodie Hidalgo a better choice than Lachlan Brook?
Going forward or going back?
Either.
Well,
he's a defender playing
that late in the game,
outside.
You want to have somebody who possesses the ball, not gives it up. I think Brook has shown that he's been able to get the ball taken away from him a little too often, which is not a good trait to have.
But I think he's better going forward. He's more
1,000%.
likely to score and
Hidalgo is there
take
to
chances.
kind of just absorb. He's not there to do anything positive or negative.
Well, he had a chance, took a crack at it. I think that did we block that? Somebody blocked that. I can't remember.
Bodie took one that was really. There were some ill-advised. I mean, take some shots. I mean, but at some point, we get back to making the right decision. Bodie took a shot. I thought that was ill-advised. The Jago, that one shot, I think it was his left foot where he had the ball out. He was outside the box, and he probably could have found an overlapping run.
Yeah,
he
held it up a little bit.
and kind of had some build-up. But he took the shot. But he did take it early, like Tyler likes, or who likes it? You like it
I like it early.
early, so he did take an early shot. So I think they're learning. They'll go and watch the film and try and figure things out. But also,
And Tyler Wolf, I thought played okay. He came in and had it, but then there were times when I was like, he's just running in circles too. So, and Kobe Henry came in and locked down his side of the field. So, what do you do with that? And then Ejago had 2 chances and didn't score. So, I mean, there's your subs.
so then you get into stoppage time. Do we want to talk about the?
No, we don't.
We don't want to talk about their goal.
Well, you're the host. You tell us what to talk
Let's
about.
talk about the goal then.
Okay, that's better.
You have to be so.
So we hit the 90th minute, and they show 7 minutes of stoppage time, and I'm like, I look at you, and you're like, "There's another goal in this game."
I did say that. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I said there's.
I said, "I hope that's for us,"
I said there's.
and it was not to be. But it was a very entertaining game, back and forth, lots of shots.
Yeah, and I think Cabral had a great save.
The bridge was just ridiculous. Junko got hung out to dry. He got the ball poked around. Look, when you come out to approach the guy on the wing and they've switched the field of play, your first job is to slow him down, right? We don't always talk about that, but that's the first job on a switched ball. Is that guy is isolated on you? He's probably an isolation player, and Junko just came at him too fast.
Yeah.
And if you come at him too fast and he goes right around you, take the yellow maybe, right?
Yeah, that's the
He
first
pushed
thing.
that ball down the line and
That's
bridged
the
him.
first thing I thought watching the game is Junqua should have knocked him down.
Take
and-
the yellow. He's a little guy. Just
Yeah, just take
give him
it.
a good bump.
Do you agree?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. I was glad. But I thought Junqua.
You were saying he shouldn't have taken the yellow.
No, because okay, so you have these angles, right? The ball is coming forward. Sam Junqua is coming like angled to it, like at a 90-degree angle, and then Homeboy has the ability to take a one-touch. Yes, he's going to run around him. Sam Junqua does not have the speed to outmatch somebody already in stride. And so he does the natural thing, which he takes the center back position, and then Quentin fills in and takes the line.
Yeah, but
Now-
Quentin's all the way across the field.
That's unfortunate because that's what they made us do. They're
Right.
playing such simple soccer that's stretching us, that's working really well. And then we have Sam Junqua who is blocking a pass line.
And he's
which-
in no man's land. Yeah.
that's-
trying
no.
to-
He's
blocking the straight
He's
pass.
blocking
Yeah.
the pass to
Yeah.
that guy that's filtering into the middle, which is adequate, but it's not high level. But Sam Junqua is not in the Premier League. So he is doing his job. We get a little unlucky with the mismatch with Glad and that Homeboy, who is very physical on Glad and gets his foot in front of the ball, allowing for a lucky bounce. And then that guy that's fading through the middle that Sam Junqua was just doing the bare minimum for
Yeah, it's their
opens
number
him up.
7. Yeah.
But honestly, if you're going to point fingers, you can sit there and do that all day. It's a good play. It's unfortunate bounce through that defender. And you can say, okay, Quentin should have taken him down. Quentin should have blocked that cross in there. He needs to get on the ground. He needs to be big. And then Glad needs to be bigger than the guy playing on him. Sam Junqua needs to run faster and cover that guy. But that's because we're looking at it from the future. We're seeing what
Right.
has happened, and that's would have been a better outcome.
Sure.
But in all reality, if you're looking at it in the basics, they did an average job.
Yeah,
And it's frustrating.
And it was an unlucky touch because Glad and what's his name ran into each other, and the ball just kind of popped out, right?
Yeah, and if Glad turned into Virgil van Dijk, this would be a whole different story. But we have Glad, and that was the scenario. It was honestly, it was once again, it was us not having an understanding of what our position really is on defense. In practice, there needs to be a middle marker. It should be when we have the ball, we go this way. This is what your intentions are. When we don't have the ball, you need to go all the way to the other side and be defensive minded in this way. There is nothing there. There is only offense minded. And so you're getting all this dispossession in the midfield. You have these double pivots that are only worried about having the ball come to them and then looking upfield. It's frustrating to look at, but I don't like the nitpicking in this scenario. Me personally.
No,
I don't like
I
it.
get what you're saying, but watching it live and being there, you could sense there wasn't a ton of urgency with Junqua.
Yeah, it did look like he just kind of disconnected when the ball went down the line.
And
and like turn and run it down. You're a sub, bro. You're a 70-minute sub. You've only been on the field 20 minutes. Go get it.
He is in line, but I think there is a lot of space there. All he had to do is stay on that line and ease over, get a little bit closer to the defender because there was nobody else there.
He would have had to gut bust to get there.
So
no.
In a perfect world, Sam Junqua needs to fully fill the position Phillip would have filled in. So he doesn't fill it.
Yeah,
he's just that's what I'm saying. He's
bust over there.
He's only blocking the pass to the person he's supposed to be man marking. And so Glad is in a one-on-one with this guy to the pass that's in front of Junqua. Junqua can't do anything with that pass. So what he should do if he's fully defensive minded is fully take on Phillip's guy and man mark, but he's doing a zone defense, so that's probably the practice that they're doing is just a zone defense. And Anelli's not going to be able to be there because he's in the perfect position defensively to cover the other outlet.
Well, it reminds me of last season when your favorite goal that we got called back, right?
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs. Was that Houston?
No.
Minnesota. So, but what in that same game, what was Minnesota doing when the ball was turned over? They were getting onside.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of that where Junqua, he's probably doing exactly what he could have done, should have done. But if he had been a little bit more tuned in, he just fades a little over to his left to the unmarked player so that if the ball does come back, he can actually make a play. And he ends up at the end of the play on the right side of the goal.
Yeah.
And it does take a lucky bounce.
I'll grant you that.
Bounces right to him, and Anders, the ice cream dryer, just puts it in the goal with ice in his veins and cream in his fingertips.
And we're also looking at this from only the left side.
Right.
So where is Henry? Where's Henry?
He's over there on the right there.
Right there.
Coming over late.
Well, there's plenty of...
That's what I'm saying. We can point fingers here all day and night.
Yeah,
but it honestly, it's what we're doing when we don't have the ball. And like you were saying before, we're being too intricate. Like we're getting so lost in this like, oh, we can score goals this way, we can score goals this way, blah blah blah. Whereas that's why these teams are able to open us up. That's why St. Louis had our number so well. What was our first game? It wasn't like 4-0 against
San
them?
Jose.
Not San Jose. No, I'm talking about last year, St. Louis.
Yeah,
it was like 4-0.
Yeah.
And that was because they just came at us with the most simplistic play. And that's what's going to happen every time we see this expansion team. Somebody who does simple stuff so that way they can get going and be successful right off the bat. We need to be doing the same thing.
Well, it is funny you mentioned that because remember when we were talking about San Jose last year when they came in and beat us? They just put in all their hustle guys.
Yeah.
And they beat us 2-0, right? Just simple soccer. So
Yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect. I don't think RSL is, at the moment, really good.
We're not operating at a high level.
But I don't think we're really bad either.
We're nowhere near bad.
No.
Because if you look at...
The 3-1 scoreline didn't reflect the game.
Not even close.
No, but if you look at the Herediano, right? Mm-hmm. That felt like that loss at home in the second leg felt like...
Totally unjustified.
Unjustified. It was the worst performance I think I've seen at RSL in a long time. But then Herediano goes out and beats LA Galaxy in Costa Rica 1-0 and outplayed them. I watched the second half of that game. And then Seattle comes in here and we beat Seattle 2-0. And then Seattle goes and just throttles LAFC 5-2. And they got a late goal to make it 5-2.
Well, that's one of the benefits of having a successful attacking style of play is that they have to defend, and that makes it so they can't counter as well.
So the point is RSL might be
pretty good,
a little better than we think.
Oh no,
but they could be a little worse.
That's not what I'm getting frustrated about.
They're a little bit of an enigma at the moment.
Yeah, we're 3 games in and only 3 points, and that's frustrating.
We are still growing with the pieces that we have. Right. I think the fact that a big hindrance is the fact that we don't have Chicho. I think his stigma or his ability to be somewhere on the field and us just have this undying faith for him because we're Utahns. We literally are just looking for that right now when we don't really have to. Piol and Ajago are doing their role absolutely great. But we're still acting like we're missing something when we're not missing anything. If we start this is what's going to happen if we start thinking that we're missing something is there's going to be holes in our game all over the place.
I think with Chicho, I think you're just trying to massage the truth there a little bit. But
So the
good?
last play of the game,
Oh my God,
they
that's
just
actually good.
just took
Did you
it to
write that
us.
one down?
no,
Ajago
just came to me.
Ajago mishit it on the touch, and they just went straight down the gut and tapped it in.
Well, I thought after the second goal, I thought they're going to score again.
No.
They're going to score again.
Don't do it.
And after the third goal, I thought
Quit it.
Not the ending you had.
Quit it. Hold out. Just a few more seconds. You'll be fine.
I'm trying to say.
that
RSL,
was raunchy. That was so good.
So bad.
Oh, okay.
So we ended up
it was
losing
not a happy
3-1.
ending with Chicho leaving. Is that what you're saying?
So
Sorry,
on
Taylor, go
Saturday,
ahead.
March 8th, we had a few other results. Columbus and Houston played to a 0-0 draw. Atlanta and Red Bull New York played to a 0-0 draw. We already mentioned the 5-2 thrashing of LAFC, which love to see that.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati beat Toronto 2-0. DC 2-1 over the Sucks of Kansas City. New England, they suck, man. And Philly scored 2, and New England can't score. NYCFC 2-1 over Orlando, who started the season strong but lost to the City. Colorado looked horrible but still won 1-0 against Austin. The Verde, and I like their new kit a little bit better. The green on green stripes vertically. Yeah, I like those.
And you know whose kit I like is the San Diego dark blue one.
Oh, the dark one. Yeah.
It's a little
They're white
simple.
on white and
A little
dark on
simple,
dark.
but the dark would look really clean.
Yeah. And then Chicago took it to Dallas 3-1. Nashville 2-0 over the Wimps of Portland right now. They're pretty wimpy. San Diego beat us 3-1. Vancouver, first place,
Undefeated.
9 points, 2-0 winners over the Frenchies of Montreal, and Minnesota over San Jose 1-0. Nobody scored from San Jose, so maybe they're not as good as they think they are. In the Sunday games, Sunday Night Football, I'd love to hear how everybody is feeling about the whole Sunday Night Football thing.
I like it.
I'll ask you guys here in a minute, but I'd love to hear from the fans too. Like if they will hit us up on what social, Brennan? What was it again? What was our social giveaway thing?
RSL Random Fan Podcast on Instagram.
And
if you
1111.
if you send, actually, let's do this. Okay, we're redacting my previous statement.
Oh, okay.
You need to send us a message on RSL Random Fan Podcast Instagram, exactly 11:11 a.m. or 11:11 p.m. And you have to say that you do not like Tyler or Brandt.
Oh no!
So
you have to say you want a hat. You have to say you want a hat.
No. If you come on there, send a message just saying, one thing I don't like about Brandt or one thing I don't like about Tyler. We will put you
My
in the
favorite-
raffle.
I need
or
to,
your favorite thing about Brennan.
exactly.
Either
I was
way.
gonna
What's
say,
your
let's edit
favorite
that.
thing about Brennan?
Favorite thing about Brennan? What
Or what you hate about Tyler.
what bugs you about Brent and Tyler?
Yep.
So there it is. Sunday Night Football. Miami beats the Queens of Charlotte. And LA Galaxy can't seem to find anything. St. Louis took them 3-0.
First reigning major MLS soccer champion, MLS Cup hosting champion that has lost 3 games in a row to start the season.
Yikes.
Tough
Philadelphia is undefeated along with Vancouver.
Yeah, San Diego's in second with 7 points.
They haven't lost, but also RSL is the first team to ever, Pio, first player to score on San Diego.
Yeah,
I think he gets a plaque for that, or maybe
You
he
should.
does. Yeah.
an Australian plaque. We'll put it in Australian for him so he can read it.
Oh no! No way!
I love how Tyler's so social, so sensitive to other people's cultures and languages.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for that kind of stuff. And get into the Come On Crawley update. They actually got a tie. Late
So
goal.
late on my Reddings, bro.
Yeah, so late. They picked up a goal. 11 games left. 9 points out of safety. It's dire. 9 points away from safety with 11 games to go.
Well, it's not as bad as Arsenal. They're 15 points out with 10 games to go. So they're not going to win.
Glory, glory, Man United.
You only get sandwiches and soup at lunch.
But
That's okay because Bruno scores.
that was a pretty
He
good goal.
scores over Arsenal's wall.
Right. And that's the highlight of your season.
Why did your goalie favor so far to the right?
I wonder that about people all the time. Why do they favor so far to the left or to the right?
But the biggest thing, too, with the EPL, the Championship EPL, Premier League, is, once they get into the playoffs, it's anybody's game.
Well,
'Cause
you know what's
they don't
crazy?
have playoffs.
You know what's crazy? This season is such a wash because
so boring.
the entire fan base just wants to see what happens to Manchester City.
Yeah.
That's all we care about. We were like, oh yeah, Liverpool won, great. What's gonna happen? Like,
Well, here's the thing about Liverpool too. They only have the bottom of the barrel left to play. They've got the titles sewn up, bro. They play Leicester. They play they just played Southampton on the weekend, right? They're just playing the teams that are already going down. You know what I mean? They got the burning ships, and they're at the top. So it's not even close.
It's been a really boring season, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
On both ends. At the top, no one's challenging Liverpool. And at the bottom, those three teams are just utter trash. Although, it does kind of point
Wolves
out.
are pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting close.
And thank you, David Moyes, for saving Everton, right? Love David Moyes. Love me some David Moyes.
Really?
Yeah, he did a great job at West Ham. Won the Europa Cup. So, yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Anything to smash, Brendan?
Just this freaking like button.
Wait, all of life?
No.
That sounded so brutal, bro.
Smash that like button.
Oh, the like button, yeah.
Give us your time to just, spread the word of two bald guys and a dude with hair talking about Real Salt Lake.
For now. A dude with hair, for now.
For now, that's true. I got your genetics, so you're going to be gone soon.
All right, so thanks for listening. Like we said, please follow us on all the social medias. Follow us, subscribe at YouTube. We're putting up a lot more content on YouTube and goals.tvs. But thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to tell us why you don't like me or Tyler and why you love Brendan at 11:11 a.m. or p.m. on Instagram. And
Instagram only.
We'll see you later.
Ciao.